All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Cassaz?
Here.
Ms. Cascio?
Excused.
Ms. Kelly? Here. Mr. Farrell?
Here.
Mr. Lovenstein?
Excused.
Mr. Shapiro?
Here.
Mr. Murray?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Basor?
Here.
And Ms. Straley?
All right, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act is given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2024, and 2, emailed to the retrospect and carried post on January 5th, 2024. First thing we have is approval of minutes. A motion is ordered for the approval of the minutes of the February 27th and March 5th meetings submitted by the clerk, as each member has received copies of the same. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? A motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Public hearing, we have ordinance 2403. It's an ordinance amending chapter 120 of the code, what we call the backyard chicken ordinance. This basically makes it no longer a pilot program, but a full-blown ordinance. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak about the chicken ordinance, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shapiro. All in favor?
Aye.
The public portion is closed. Would someone like to make a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt on second, final reading and advertise according to law.
All right, a motion by Mr. Farrell, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Murray. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. Oh, boy, I'm sorry, that's me. Oh, what a faux pas. First reading, ordinance 2406 is a bond ordinance authorizing the completion of various capital improvements and acquisitions of various capital equipment, appropriating the sum of $775,000, authorizing issuance. The principal amount is $736,250, because in the budget is the deposit. Would someone like to make a motion on this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law, with a public hearing to be held on the 7th day of May, 2024, at a meeting beginning at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes.
Okay. Ordinance 2407 is environmental assessment ordinance. Motion to adopt, would someone like to make a motion to adopt this ordinance?
That's for it.
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law, with a public hearing to be held on the 7th day of May, 2024, at a meeting beginning at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Would someone like to second? Second by Mr. Farrell. So motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Farrell. Mr. Farrell, roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Okay. Ordinance 2408 is a habitat conservation ordinance. Would someone like to make a motion for this? Ms. Kelly?
I'll make a motion to adopt first reading and advertise according to law with a public hearing to be held on the 7th day of May, 2024, at a meeting beginning at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Farrell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
All right. I'll just add in this other resolution. Okay, committee reports. Finance. Mr. Brown.
Yes. So tonight, Shelley will be presenting the budget, I guess for the first reading, is that how it's?
Yep, first reading tonight.
So that's the big news out of the finance department. Also from the building construction office, I'm going to start giving numbers out on how many inspections we do a month, just so we kind of have a feel of what's going on there. So we did 47 building, 35 electrical, 32 plumbing, and 15 fire inspections for the month. So I'm going to report that so everybody up here knows what they're doing right now. Get a feel for it. Is that a promise?
Okay, thank you. Public safety, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Property maintenance by Buck Toto. He had 17 complaints this month, and he had re-inspections, 16, CO inspections, 24, re-inspections of CO, 10, New Jersey State multiple dwelling inspections, 1, court summons, 1. Good job, Buck. Fire department. Fire incidents last month, 38. EMS statistics, 92 EMS incidents. And I'm going to refer to the Barrington EMS report for a full report. And the fire marshal had 65 completed inspections. He handed over fees of $3,675. There were no fire lane violations, and he had no fire investigations. I am pleased to announce that we do have a new grant that was given to the fire company, and they are able now to have training for doors, how to open doors. And it's $9,100 that was granted to the fire company so that they can train in-house now.
What kind of doors?
Well, it's a training door. And I watched the video.
Car doors.
No. These are doors to your homes
Right
and
there.
to your buildings.
Model.
It is important to get into these locked doors. And what this builds is memory, muscle memory, so that when they see a door, if it opens one way or if it opens the right way,
Makes sense.
they know exactly what tool to use and how to apply the pressure. So every week now they'll be training on this big door assembly. It's amazing. So thanks for Anthony for getting after the fire company.
I'll let him come over to my building.
You're going to have to do the inspection of your new building.
So I did watch the video. It's really a wonderful piece of equipment. Our fire department, I'll go on now with the police department. Very busy month. 1,099 calls for service. And 304 traffic summonses issued. 16 motor vehicle crashes, 61 arrests, 2 hours of overtime. I don't know how the chief does that with only 2 hours of overtime, but I know you do it. And kudos to you, chief, because with this kind of action going on, I don't know how you do it, but it's wonderful, and I appreciate it, and I let you know that too. And I'll go with the monthly report from our Barrington Ambulance Association. We've been in shared service now almost a full year. And we had 176 transports. There were handled by, for Runnemede, 74 calls, 84 in Heights, 76 in Barrington, and we had an average response time of 5.41 minutes, and that's a very good report also. And that's my report. I'm looking forward to the budget.
Okay, thank you. No, that's okay. Public events, Ms. Passio is not here, but I was not around this weekend. How did the Easter parade go?
Great.
Great, simple, okay. All right, kept that simple. Everybody's,
I
anybody
got
else?
my toys.
Okay, good. Engineering, Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bathroom addition at the Harvey Williams Building. Council authorized Bach Associates to proceed with design. Bach Associates are preparing and updating a base plan. Camden County Development Block Grant. Bach Associates have completed design on 2nd Avenue as a base bid, and also sidewalks and driveways of aprons on 4th Avenue as an added alternative bid. We were advertising the project in early April so we can get it awarded for the May 7th council meeting. Construction on 1st Avenue, Bach Associates has submitted a recommendation for payment to. Change order was approved for council resolution 2451. Bach has been coordinating with CCIA regarding CDBG project closeout. Manor Court and Bowers Avenue, the borough has been reimbursed $60,000 on March 26th. Have we received that yet? Yeah, okay, thanks. Girl Scout Building, Bach's associates have been coordinating with the borough and potential contractors on cost estimates for making the necessary repairs. Camden County Open Space Round 24. Applications for 25,000 grant application is due April 30th, 2024. Council has concurred to apply for additional lights at the Vanilla Park.
Ooh,
So, all the rest is progress.
Thank you.
great report.
Okay, Public Works, does anybody have anything from Craig? Was there anything, I think they were trying to get some things done at the Scout Building. Did you have anything about the Scout Building?
No, I've heard that a couple of times. I haven't seen anybody in there.
Okay. I think they're getting ready to sheet rock, and I think they need to.
They got to get the heater guy.
The heating was the last thing? Okay, well, that's good.
They got to put it, they got to get that heater guy to come in, and then they can.
And then they can sheet rock. Okay, well, that's progress. All right, Parks and Rec, Mr. Shapiro.
Normal guy on caucus.
Okay, good. Solicitor's report?
I'm going to rely on caucus other than to say thank you to council for passing the green team ordinances on first reading. Those were my two additions.
I appreciate all your last.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor, you're welcome. Other than that, I have nothing else for public consumption at this time.
Okay, great. Engineers report, anything more? Get the microphone so everyone can hear all the things you're working on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bob covered most of it, just a couple updates.
Is the microphone on? Can everybody hear? Okay, good.
The 2023 CDBG project on West 2nd Street will be advertising this Monday. Bid opening will be April 25th at 10 o'clock a.m. I checked with that the date, and that will allow us to award the May 7th meeting. We've been working with Congressman Norcross' office and Senator Booker. There's an application for funding, possible funding that's due this Friday. We're recommending that we apply for funding for slip lining your sewer system, including stormwater and sanitary. So with the council's permission, we'll go ahead with that.
Do you need a resolution or just a permit?
It's just going online with Senator Booker's webpage and filling out information. If you need a resolution, we'll submit it after the fact.
There's no objection to that. The offices have been calling a lot, trying to, but there's no guarantees for funding.
They've been having webinars on this, pushing for it. Last year, out of Norcross's office, they awarded $14 million, but no telling if that's going to be there in this budget year.
Okay.
So we can go for that. And the other important thing is the sewer extension project is supposed to start next Monday, so there will be traffic detours in place. I believe they're starting putting the manhole in at Evergreen for now. Yeah.
So is Davis Road going to be closed?
They're going to close it during the day and detour traffic around.
So we've composed a letter to go out to all 100 homes. And what it basically says is that it will get started the week of the next week, and that there will be inconveniences, that there will be times where roads are closed. However, the plan is, if they work with the police department's assistance and approval, closing in such a way that people can still get around. They might have to go around Evesham Road or go around Clemensbridge Road to get down there. But I think it would have to. I think the signs will really be important about the people who cut through Davis Road, who are cutting through from Barrington or cutting through from.
What about the people going home?
So they'll still be able to do it. But say hypothetical, it's closed in front of Evergreen. We would have to drive around Evesham and come up the back way, come up Commerce, or go down Clemensbridge Road and go down Shreve. You still could get there, you just have to go around the block. But I mean, they would be done work every night by 5, and their idea would be to close up.
So people could.
What are their hours? That's something we probably should have put on there, maybe.
It's usually 7:30 to 3 o'clock.
7:30 to what?
You think we should maybe notify that? Maybe we could say that in our letter then? That the standard
What'd you say,
hours are
Lord?
7.
7:30 to what?
The 3 or 3:30, I forget what it was.
And maybe I could put that in the letter, so people know, maybe they, the plan a little bit. So by 3:30 at Dave, or 4 o'clock if Davis was open again, that would make a big difference.
Yeah.
When does this start?
Next week? And, so what's the plan? Start at Evergreen and make their way up and down Davis?
They're going to head towards Hartford first.
Head towards Hartford. Okay.
You're saying 7:30 to 3?
I have to look, it's either 3 or 3:30. I don't have the minutes from the pre-con. We had the pre-con back in October. I just don't remember what.
I would say 7, we're usually out there starting early, so just so people know.
Why don't we make it 7:34?
Yeah.
We'll say 7, we'll figure out how to put that in the letter.
I'll just add it to the first one.
Yeah.
Section.
And,
Oh, good.
you're not gonna have a problem up there, you have many ways of getting out.
Yes,
If you
yeah,
decide
oh,
to
where
go-
I am, yeah, I am, I'm in good shape.
Yeah. It's just, somebody might have to go around Clemens Ridge Road to get to Black Horse Pike. Just have to give yourself an extra 10 minutes, so my son will be 10 minutes more late to work. Every day, he in season every day late. Okay, so you like the idea of sending a letter out, and I didn't say anything about the other stuff we need to do, the stakes, because that's some time.
The contractors should be coordinating with the homeowners on that.
Okay, so they locate.
I mean, if they're starting in Davis and starting to lay sewer pipe, then you know where to put the laterals.
So Chief, the only thing I would say to him is he's got to spend a few dollars to put some type of directional signs, literally out on Hartford and Evesham, telling people that Evergreen is closed, or, and then another one at the corner of Hartford and Davis. So they don't drive down to Evergreen and have to turn around.
Not reasonable back.
And then I think the same thing on the Barrington, we have to work with Now Barrington's, their officers are gonna have to know on that side. And Magnolia too, right? Did you make a deal with Magnolia? So what he's doing, he's using the
I
yard.
assume that's what he's doing, he's using the Barrington Business Center.
I gave him that guy's phone number.
He said he contacted him and was working it with him.
Okay,
I presented their offer of the Magnolia space.
that would've been nice.
It would have been nice, but he hasn't gotten back to me.
All right, so you think he's using Barrington? Okay. All right, we'll get it out. Was there anything else on the sewer project?
Yeah, that was everything.
I saw
That was
it.
everything. Thank you for covering that, Bob. We're good.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll go right to the resolutions. Not that many, so
Beth mentioned you're going to get the resolution for awarding the,
Yeah, I gave it to you walk on.
okay.
Harding
That's
Avenue?
the last one.
Yeah. And is your other one on here? Shelley, the one that changes that? Okay. All right, we only have a few. We'll go through them, and then we'll do all the resolutions and leave the budget for the end. Is that how you want to do it?
Okay.
Okay. All right, resolution 2457 is authorizing the refund of an overpayment from a sewer account. This someone overpaid $315.71. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Shapiro. Is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Second by Ms. Kelly. No discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrow?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
That resolution is adopted. Resolution 2466 is a resolution authorizing a bank signatory. Oh, but you was the signatory, okay. That's for that. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Everyone knows who they can direct their complaints to,
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrow?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 2467 is to average the tax collection rate. This is what was added on. Instead of doing last year's, it's a 3-year average. Would someone like to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Farrow, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Kelly. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrow?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
That resolution is adopted. Did you change the font?
They're all, it depends on how I get them, but yeah, they're usually all the
No, I like the different font. It's a little cleaner. Resolution 2468 is governing body certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Would someone like to make a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second. Someone, second by Mr. Murray. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrow?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray? Verizon to absent.
That resolution is adopted. Resolution 2469 is a resolution for the local examination. Are we under an examination this year? Is that what this is? Authorizing? In-house examination, okay. We did the other one before. Okay, would someone like to make a motion? This basically means we just review our own budget. Motion by Mr. Shapiro, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Murray.
Fast now, Mrs. Kelly.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
And Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Verizon to absent.
All right. And then we have the introduction of the 2024 budget. We're going to let Ms., oh no, you know what, let's do this other one for Harding Avenue first. Get that out of the way. Resolution 2471 is a resolution approving the low quote for reconstruction of Harding and Payne Avenues. The low bid was $221,000 by Lambert Construction. Would someone like to make a motion to it?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Farrell. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Murray. Roll call, please.
Mayor, that's for the base bid plus add alternate one, the resolution. I don't have a copy of the resolution, so.
And where's the amount for the add-on?
It's 221,996.69 is the base bid and add alternate.
Oh, combined.
Yes.
Is that, and then what did the DOT give us, 200?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a tip.
So base and add-on. Okay, I apologize, I didn't read it well. But, did you do the roll call already? All right, roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Verizon to absent.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Now the introduction to the budget. Do you want us to dim the lights and you put some music on?
Well, I would like music, something cheery.
How's that,
Tiger,
Rebecca?
maybe?
Hi, hi.
Forgot on there.
You want me to stand? Yes, sir.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Anybody have a preference? Okay. I don't love space. Okay. We're gonna actually just skip right over the uncollected taxes page. The mayor actually addressed it briefly. We're doing a 3-year average this year instead of just using last year's collection rate. It will take a little bit off of the required appropriation that we need to budget. So that is why we are reducing it slightly. It's only a little over $2,000 that we're able to reduce it, but as we discussed last week, we've reduced appropriations as much as possible this year. Comparison of current and prior year revenues. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see up there, but I did send it out to everybody. And I have a pointer. Our local revenues, as we discussed last week as well, is really our primary concern right now. It's a total change of 37% less than last year. Combined with the reduction of 28% last year, we're seeing an overall, over the last 2 years, reduction of 66%. So that's one of the main things that we want to be working on this year, is trying to find ways to improve our local revenues. State and federal grants is the only other one on this sheet that has a reduction, but that's offset on both sides, so we're not worried about that one at all. Comparison of current and prior year appropriations. Overall, we were able to really cut that down quite a bit in other expenses. I'm not crazy about it, but it was really the only way to offset as much as we could as far as the loss in revenue. So salary and wages, we've only increased that $43,000. But we did reduce other expenses by $226,757.
It's big.
It's going to be a hit. It really is, especially considering a good majority of that could not be reduced because it is contracts. Things like our attorney, our engineer.
Yeah, wow.
contractual items that
I
are,
stayed steady this year.
you guys.
But other
said-
expenses would also be the trash tipping fees. That would-
Well, those are items exactly that we cannot reduce.
Yeah,
Contractual items that we just cannot change. Debt service is increased by 8%. Our capital is only increased by 5%. Statutory and deferred charges up by 5%. All in all, they're about the same every year. Nothing really drastic there. On the next page, you'll see a breakdown of your tax rate for the year. Yes, county and schools are estimated right now. We usually come pretty close when we estimate that. So it's not going to be exact, but it is very close. The municipal rate is exact. That is what our municipal rate is this year, 1.262. Your municipal rate accounts for 28% of your tax bill every year. Our municipal rate will account for, based on your average assessed home, which is 149,093. It's 105.55, which comes out to $8.79 a month
for just our portion.
for just our portion.
And we're not positive about everyone else's yet, but, and that includes the library also, which went up this year. That-
Yes, the
Yeah.
library went up this year as well. So on the next page, you'll see we're just showing what the percentage is for each area. 51% is schools, as it usually is. 20% is the county, 1% goes to the library, and 28% goes to municipal. Again, no real change there. This page here, you'll see just breakdowns. It will list almost every amount of a property assessment that there is and tell you what the amount will be this year, what the changes from last year. And again, county and schools are estimates at this time.
And our assessed value currently is low because we
Our
haven't
assessed
done a
value is
reassessment.
very low.
And we are required to do it next year
What is it, every 5
By
years?
2026.
by 2026. And we're going to do
10 years.
we're going to do, I think, a shared service with Gloucester Township. We're going to work with them because they're going to reassess and we're going to reassess at the same time. So we originally were going to do it this year, I think, and they asked us to push it back so we can both do it together because it affects the schools and things like that. So yeah, so our average house in Runnemede is not $149,000.
It's not. And
But that's
that
what-
is part of the issue.
It is part of the issue. We do have to fix it because that's actually hurting us
It
when they
is.
do the equalization and all that other stuff.
It is.
It's changed that much in,
Dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That won't change what someone pays, it just changes that number. But then when they throw it into the county, the whole county, the way county taxes are multiplied, and the way the school budget for the high school, it all matters.
And you'll also see on the next page why that matters.
Okay, the next page.
So this here, and I'm going to show you, because the mayor actually brought this up the other day. Now, when you look at this, when you talk about a penny increase on the tax levy, when they talk about 1 cent and how much that is. So that's based on your net valuation taxable. Our net valuation taxable is $505,515,600. That's it. I want to show you how easy this is to figure out. Now, there's, of course, a complicated way, but I'm going to show you the easiest possible way to figure this out, how you figure out our penny increase. Right here would be your decimal point, right? You move it 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the left. And that's how you figure out your penny.
oh,
So our penny, our 1 cent on the levy is $50,000, 551.56. So for every penny increase on our levy, it's $50,000. That's all. And we are just shy of that for 1%. So at 0.84%, that's all we get. So we're not really, when you say we're at a 5% increase, you're not really looking at that much money for appropriations. When you think our trash contract alone is $326,000, that's,
So the 2% tax really puts a burden on us because the most we're allowed to raise
right.
would be $100,000 a year. We hire one more person at a, could eat up that salary.
Exactly. So it's really, when you think about it, it's really not giving us that much wiggle room. I mean, I know of towns where 1% for them is $8,000 because of their net valuation taxable. So it sounds like it's really, a lot when you say 1% or a penny increase, but when you really look at what that number actually is, based on our net valuation taxable, it's not really giving us that much to work with. That may be one employee without any benefits, or that may be, not even a 1/7 of a contract.
Yeah.
That we're,
Now, the other point that I want to make though is the borough is worth $505 million. But when the county adjusts that, I think that
Yes.
number's closer to $700 or $750 million. So what that's saying is when we do this re-evaluation, our number's supposed to get closer. It's supposed to be 100%. So if someone can sell their house for $250,000, we're supposed to evaluate them at $250,000. The difference is, if they're paying $6,000 in taxes and assessed at $150,000, if we now reassess them at $250,000, they're still going to pay $6,000.
right.
But where it helps us is on the county side, it balances things out because they're sort of guessing when they do that equalization. And some towns complain that that equalization isn't fair. And right now, a lot of the towns in the county are low, in the 70 or 80%, so they're making all these adjustments. So Shelley and I did go to a meeting down in Lakeland, right? Where they yelled at all the towns, and not everybody showed up to tell them all to fix all these problems, to get on top of this, to get this done. So I see Worcester Township will get this done in the next year. Yeah.
And you can look, if you ever look between even counties, you can look at some of the bigger cities and the smaller towns, their tax rates vary so much, and that's really why. It really has nothing to do with how much people are actually being taxed. It's based on what their net valuation tax is. Okay, so if you go to this next page here, it's just really a breakdown of our total appropriations and how much of a percentage is going to each department. Because I know we get a lot of questions about that. So we have 3% is our fire department, 14% is insurance. That's all of our insurance. That's workman's comp, that's liability, that's health insurance, that's everything. But that's a very large number.
And the dividend got cut by 90% this year.
Yes, it did. I'm glad you noticed that.
I did.
Our pension costs, again, 8% of our total appropriations is our pension costs. Our debt service, 9% altogether. Administration was 5%, police 16%. Our utility costs, 6%.
It's huge.
On a $10 million budget, yes, that's huge. Solid waste and recycling is also a pretty good expense, 9%. It really is. It really is. We brought that up last year. We went from $5 a ton. We're still in that $105 to $129 a ton range this year. It has not gone down.
It's not going to.
And it's not going to.
Right.
I kind of lumped shared services and grants together with some other employer costs at 19%. But keep in mind, shared services is really 1% of our budget, and most of that has an offsetting revenue. Grants also offsetting revenue. So you're really only going to see about 13% of that are items like, we really don't have enough to put into one category. Our public events is a very small budget. Economic development, legal, audit, engineering, things like that are just not large enough to really kind of point out against our total appropriate. You're welcome, guys.
I would say you're welcome.
Animal control, things like that. When you go to the next slide, you'll see a breakdown of our municipal rate and dollar amount and how much each department really costs against that. So what we did was we broke it all down, how much the police department costs per your tax dollar, how much our solid waste and recycling costs are, court, administration, really just everything. We really kind of took a deep dive into everything this year. And given the state of everything, we really wanted to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb for everyone. The next slide is just a comparison of the current and prior year revenues. Now again, this is budgeted revenues, and we can only budget what we realized in cash in the prior year. So it may look like a lot more came in last year, but if we didn't actually get it, I couldn't budget it. So we have some pretty big drops, although EMS, of course, we expected because we're outsourcing that now. We're no longer bringing that in. So that one, I just put that in there to show the drop for now, because it is affecting that end of it. However, our appropriation side has also reduced that rate amount. So, that's a good offset right there. Fees and permits is an issue. We do have a consistent drop in that line. Insurance dividends, as the mayor brought up, that's a big one. I actually, on the next page, went back to 2019 with our revenues. So all in all, we're looking at a 91% drop in that since 2019.
90.
You got it? Okay,
Yeah.
'cause you really see the difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, one of the other, some street openings since,
And that was a crazy years though. We had some crazy years with the street, but it made a big difference in our
it
revenue.
did. It really did. So, yeah, that's one of the worst ones right there.
Well, municipal court, 50% is crazy. Fees and
Yes.
permits, 50%.
Yes.
And then street openings, 80% drop.
It's,
And then the wonderful state aid went up 1% over 5 years. That's-
did you see
Aren't
that?
they nice?
That's why I threw that in there.
And how many unfunded mandates in the
1% they gave us.
They gave us 1%. They sure did. So when we get to the current and prior year appropriations, again, we did everything that we could here to reduce what we could, only increase what we had to. Landfill, solid waste disposal, we tried to keep that as flat as we could. It's hard. Solid waste collection, 47%. Municipal court.
Do you have that
we
backwards?
reduced that as,
Oh, landfill costs went up, not the collection. We're not paying
They're
Belmar.
they're kind of,
Tied together?
yes, between the two.
Okay. Because I thought Belmar was flat with their increase this year.
Belmar, we pay Belmar, we also pay collection for some apartments in
The
town.
apartment buildings.
Yes. So and they outsource theirs, so. we
And that's gone
make
up a
sure we're
lot.
Covering a lot of that, yes. Insurance, liability insurance has increased quite a bit. A few things I wanted to point out for this, and, I've had a few comments recently about salary and wages and what it looks like it should be. And I think that a lot of people are under the impression that all of the costs for an employee are in that salary and wage line. Their pension costs are in a pension line. Their health benefit costs are in a health benefit line. Their taxes are in a tax line. The only thing that's in a salary and wage line is their actual salary. So when you look at, say, police, for instance, this cost here is the cost for the police salaries and their other expenses, but not things like health benefits, pension, things like that. So when you wanted to actually have all of that cost, that's broken out in other areas. So if you wanted a total cost for, your full-time police department, that total cost might be 2.4 million, as opposed to just the cost of what.
Their salary actually.
Yes, exactly. I think that a lot of people don't realize that those things are budgeted in other areas throughout, because the state actually gives us account numbers and areas throughout the budget that they have to go.
They tell you where to plug
They
everything
tell
in.
us where to put it,
Yeah.
exactly. One of the other things that I wanted to point out in our appropriation trends is we actually did a pretty great proposal on our estimated reduction in costs for EMS. I looked at our proposal and we estimated a reduction of 45% in costs on that initial contract of 73% services. Obviously, we amended that 3 times since, but we had a 41% decrease in actual costs from 22 to 23. And we also had entered into the stipend agreement. So we were pretty close with all of that when we estimated those proposals. So I think that actually came out pretty well. Probably one of the only things that we could say has gone the way we expected it to go over the last 2 years, other than the amendments. But
So solid waste is almost up at 100% in 5 years.
isn't that crazy? I know. Yes, solid waste is.
And general
And
liability,
we all knew it was
65%.
coming, they warned us that it was coming, but I really truly
I don't think
don't
we
believe
expected it to
anybody
be this
expected
high.
it to be.
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then with the solid waste and recycling both hitting at the same time,
Hmm.
that I think is really what crushed everyone. In addition to our already increasing costs, between things like those, exactly. Sanitation, recycling, insurance costs, everything that the state has basically deemed extraordinary costs and those increases. What we did was we took a historical trend for appropriations, tax rates, general appropriations, everything. And we went back as far as 2013, because we just kind of wanted to take a look at what the trends were. We had some pretty big dips over here and then in here. What you really want to do is you want to kind of stay flat with gradual increases. So that's really what we want to make sure that we're doing moving forward. The big dips like that, no. So, we did a history of surplus, because as we discussed last week, surplus is the only option that we have outside of revenues and the amount to be raised by taxation. I looked all the way back to 2007 on your surplus balances, and it was as low as $134,000 at one point.
The years that we had the 2 layoffs in the police
Yeah.
department, that was,
Yeah.
there was no money, and they used all the surpluses, what they needed to
It's
do.
extremely difficult to come back from something like that.
Taking a long time.
Yeah, so, we're trying, we're working on historical trends of quite a few things, plus we're working on
And then I will say,
extraordinary cost increases.
had Runson House paid when they were supposed to pay, that right there would make a difference of $300,000
Yes,
on the revenue side. So our surplus would be 1.8, which would be a pretty decent number,
yes,
and we wouldn't look as terrible. We would end the year with a number that's decent.
But we
850.
anticipated it. We anticipated it.
Because you have a piece of paper that says, we're going to pay you
It was
on,
due.
it literally says, we're going to pay you on this day. And then they didn't pay us. Runson House did not pay us the $300,000 they owed us.
I can't get it for you.
I know.
It's,
Like to, but I
6
can't.
cents.
I'll be over there to collect the rent on the first of the month.
Stop by, I'll give you a cup of coffee.
Okay, we're almost through it. So we're still using all of the grants that we're able to obtain. Our departments are still doing really well, as Mrs. Kelly mentioned. Anthony's doing an excellent job on grants. We're still getting through, as Harry's doing an excellent job too. We're getting as many as we can. I'd like to see an increase in that. Anything that we can get help with, we need it. Shared service agreements.
I want to stop you and let everybody know, because I talked to a few members of council. Court is something that's coming up again because of retirements and stuff like that, so there's some opportunities for the borough to do things to
You
help
need more
offset.
shared services?
More shared services, more consolidation of the court personnel. There's just not enough people to do all these things. And the revenue is off by 50%, not just in Runnemede,
Everywhere.
Well, don't forget, you really can't
Take on my
collect
soapbox on that one.
anymore.
You cannot.
You can't really collect.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, you can't collect.
Yeah.
There's no mechanism to enforce, you can't go through collections agencies.
No, not anymore.
Everyone gets ROR'd if you issue warrants, there is no incentive. If you want to avoid your court fees,
50% decrease. And your costs are going up because you have to pay people to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
them work.
so a lot of ideas sound great on paper and then execution happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we do have all of our shared services. We do have a list of our planned projects on here. And I hope I didn't miss any of them, but they should be. Mark would know better than anyone. But I think I got them all.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But we do have, we have a lot of things that we're planning on repairing and trying to renovate in our public buildings this year.
Oh, well, Bobby was talking about the bathrooms over at,
Yes.
Well,
the rec center. This is
Right.
something we've been working for
Yes.
for a couple of years now.
Most
Yeah.
of which is planned to be supplemented by grants,
Yes.
if and when possible. So, but, I think,
Grant, missing the LRFG, so we're at.
We get that every year, we're pretty good with that.
yeah.
Well, not every.
Well, we've missed a couple, you're right.
Oh, and as the mayor likes to ask, I'm surprised he didn't already ask, but I did email it to everybody. Our cap balances are still very high because we don't have the ability to budget any more than what's in the budget right now.
The point is, though, is if we do run into a problem next year, we have the ability to raise taxes, but I think our goal, what we've been talking about, is looking at the revenue side
Yes.
and really try to get that going. We're hoping that between the cannabis, the warehouse, the apartments, the homes, all these things, if they would just start to hit, it would make a difference.
But we do have $842,621 in our appropriations bank, and we have $688 in our levy cap.
Yeah. Okay. The sewer? Want to say that?
Yes. All right, as Mr. Bayshore mentioned and Mr. Carroll, we are starting construction in April. And we do have the ability to save some money on that project as well.
Well, we're hoping to get, like, $2 million back from the federal
2
government.
million, yes.
And then the state is going to hopefully give us back some of this money that we've fronted all these years. And we're thinking about getting that returned to us, correct? Is that, we have to weigh that out.
The goal.
Yeah. So,
So you think we might get $2 million back?
we did pretty confident.
According to our reviewing documents and our
You know,
compliance
we put this
process.
money up a long time ago.
2021 is when I think I sent the first letter out.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
The ability is there, as long as everything goes as planned.
Yeah.
The ability is there.
all right. It's going to be an awful project. I'm going to tell everybody it's going to be awful, right? It's going to be awful.
Well,
No pain, no gain.
It is paid.
It is going to be
Yeah,
up.
I know.
It's gonna be
For a long time, that's the problem. It's for a long
a
time.
year.
So on a 149 home, what would the taxes be?
About $105.
Pay the month.
When we were in our heydays, we were usually doing about $40. Remember, $40, $60?
Yeah.
So we're a little heavy this year, but it's a different time. It is what it is. You know, there's
This
not a person
budget-
out there.
I'll tell you, this budget is like, I thank God for this budget because I would have a hard time explaining to people.
Well, we're gonna put this on the website. I mean, one of the things that.
This is wonderful.
The argument about open public records is the fact that governments need to be transparent. I think putting this stuff out there is a point which we have to do. Make everything available.
Fabulous job.
This was not an easy one to do.
No, it's not.
No?
And,
She's been mad at me for a while.
Yeah, get money.
no, but it's great. It's great.
He's not talking to me either, so.
You're all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
All right?
We'll get through it. This year is going to be tough.
All right.
We'll get through it.
Anything else then?
I have nothing unless there are any questions.
I asked my questions as you were going along, so no, I have no questions, but I just want to congratulate you because this was not an easy job, kiddo. And I think it's understandable. That's the big part. People can understand why we're raising taxes this year, so.
We can see how other things happen. We get grants come in during the year, stuff happens.
We got a lot of grants this year, and thank God we did.
Okay, if we're not, any other discussion, we'll go right to a resolution to adopt. Would someone like to make a motion to?
I'll make that motion to adopt this budget
Thank you, Ms.
and congratulate our
Jason,
CFO.
Congratulations for raising, thank you. Would someone like to second?
I guess I'll second.
Yeah, she took the bullet. Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Murray. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Four ayes, got it.
Resolution is adopted. Payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Murray.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray? Four ayes, got it.
The bill should be paid. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Good evening, my name is Dave Steinberg, I live at 825 East Clements Bridge Road, apartment 313, stop up for...
Right.
A couple weeks ago, I went to a seminar, and there was a gentleman there from the National Park Service. And he sent me a real nice letter. We talked a little bit about some of the things going on in town. He seemed to have a lot of interest, and I spoke to Councilman Farrell last week, and he suggested that both he, Councilman Shapiro, and Lowenstein be invited to a phone meeting. An introductory. The grant times have passed already. We did not make the 2024 grant. However, I think this is an opportunity for 2025. And I'd like to request the two of you and also Councilman Lowenstein to kind of get back to me when you're available sometime next week or the week after.
This day or night?
Probably daytime. I know you have a lot.
Yeah, probably me and Craig would lean on him. I know he works.
Well,
Make it work.
I'm going to send out another email to invite you to get back to me in times that you're available. If we can only get 2 of the 3 people, it's only a first meeting. It's not critical that everybody be there, but if we can get 2 or 3 of the council people there, I think it'd be a good opportunity to present some of the things that we're talking about at least as far as the parks are concerned. I did mention something about possible boat launch. I don't know if that's still under consideration or not, but there are many other things that we can take a look at. And if we can get grants, they have opportunities to tell us where to apply for the grants. And I think that is something very timely, especially in view of the budget situation. To get some money to get these things done, hey, that means we don't even have to touch our taxes.
Thank you, Dave.
So I'll be in touch with you gentlemen. And one quick question. Last week, there was we had a discussion, I'm switching hats now, with Reimagine Runnemede. What is the process? Is this supposed to be a resolution?
So we're introducing a budget, and in the budget, we have the funds that we talked about for once this budget is adopted, then we'll have the ability to do that, and it will be our typical reimbursement or whatever the expenditures would have to pay.
Okay, because I'm looking basically for the actual resolution, so we can take it around to some of these businesses and say, look, we have approval from our town for this, we also have the other.
It's not necessarily a resolution, it's in the budget. I mean, I
Oh, it's in
think
the budget.
I think you could say it's
I
budgeted.
wasn't quite sure.
You know, there's a commitment, so if you're looking for them to add on to it, let them know that it's a co-op between the town and your organization, or the Reimagine organization.
Right, good.
Okay?
Well, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing no one else, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Brown, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Two quick things. I want to thank Beth for using the projector. If everyone doesn't know, this has been a couple years running. So now I made a note though, Beth. I give you a thank you for that. And I said, next is the camera. So our goal with the funding that we did get through during the COVID monies was we made a commitment to obviously communicate more. And one of the things that was asked was that we could also help put our meetings out there. We do appreciate, Dan, what you do, but it is part of our responsibility to have this. And then the future could possibly be, if a member of council couldn't show up, Mrs. Patsy could have possibly logged on if we needed her to be that fourth vote, because we need at least 4 people here today. And that's still allowed now, right? Correct. A person can vote in, so.
I always like to have a policy in place.
Well, if we get the camera working, then we'll work on the policy. We'll start slowly, and then, because the hypothetical is if one of you couldn't make it tonight, we would have needed Craig or Patty to, we wouldn't have been able to do it, because we needed 4 votes to introduce the budget. So that's why it's important, and the state's allowing us to do this remote access. That's the next project.
Camera work, it's just you want it live, you want it live.
We gotta work on it. We're gonna work on it. And then the next thing, I just got an email, Chief, and hopefully we have someone available. So Frank Philbeck Jr. and Chronic Homelessness Breakfast. I may be able to make it, and right now we have no representation. We're running at the event. Can you make sure your police and local leader could be there? You think maybe me and Chuck could go, or Chuck and I don't know if somebody has any time.
What is this?
Homelessness, did you know about this? I'll forward it to you. You should, I mean, it was probably sent, it should have been sent out to the Chief of Police Association. The county's trying to end homelessness. It's a big, obviously it's an issue. But it's all together. The whole county's looking at it as a
The
totality.
whole
You
county.
don't want to push somebody from one town to another town and shuffling people around.
I think I know this. But did you forward it?
I'm forwarding it to you now. If you can't find it. And if you want to tell, if you want to let me know if you're going or not, maybe I can see if I can go, or if somebody else could. It's in the morning, it's a breakfast meeting. I don't know yet, I have to read the whole thing. I remember it coming about, and all the commissioners are going to be there. Well, I don't know if all the
Mayor,
commissioners
if I
will be there.
wasn't working, I would go, but
Yeah, I know, it can be tough.
We're gonna sign.
But at least there's somebody there. Obviously, I think they're really talking to the police department. I think they're talking to the police department. And if you want to see the other, it's this Friday. And if you want, yeah.
All right.
And if you want, I can respond to Frank and let him know.
Just don't.
Or do you want to talk to some of the other chiefs first?
Yeah, I'll call Shane this morning.
Yeah, find out from him and then let me know. Okay, other than that, that's all I have. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Is there someone who will second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Shapiro. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we adjourned at 8 o'clock on the dot.